do you have a list of any immune supporting things that you do or would recommend?
I don't have a list written out. I could certainly prepare one. So I am a big believer in zinc. So, and I don't do all of these things every day, right? I use them as a tonic versus, so that, you know, it's kind of like adaptogens are things that you don't want to use daily because you don't want to kind of deplete their kind of punch, right? So, elderberry extract or elderberry syrup has long been used to support immunity, zinc. I also like to get as many phytonutrients in as possible. So here's something fun that I've been doing is for a long time, I have always eaten a lot of dried herbs because they're easy to add to food. They're tasty and nutritious. And I literally began to do this within the last 2 days. And that is I buy herbs in bulk, right? So you can buy a pound of rosemary for, you know, I don't know, $16 or something. It's a lot cheaper to buy it in bulk than it is to buy it in those tiny little spice jars. Anyway, so I have my own blends of, like, you know, Italian mix or whatever. But what I started doing is putting it in a coffee grinder. So I think, you know, maybe today I did probably 2 tablespoons of dried herbs, and it wouldn't be very comfortable to have those dried herbs in your mouth like when you're eating your food, because they're kind of spiky and like they get between your teeth and just uncomfortable. But if you run them through an old coffee grinder, which is what I've been doing, it literally kind of pulverizes them to a powder. And you would think that, like, oh, 2 tablespoons of dried herbs is going to be really overpowering, but when you grind them up, they aren't overpowering. So that's one way that I'm adding phytonutrients to my food without, yeah, it's quite affordable and pretty easy to do. The other thing that I'm a big fan of is bee propolis. So there's a company called Beekeepers Naturals, and they make a propolis spray. So I'll use that when if I feel a little tickle in my throat come on, and I can't believe I didn't already mention vitamin C. So I'm a big believer in taking vitamin C to bowel tolerance when you're experiencing an immunity challenge. And so literally that might mean taking 5 grams of vitamin C every half hour until you reach bowel tolerance. And generally you'll know when you're heading in that direction because you'll get a little gurgle in your tummy. And so I've knocked out, you know, there's Linus Pauling is the kind of, I think he was a Nobel Prize winner behind this vitamin C research. And he has this thing basically that he calls like the 100-gram cold, which is the notion of like 100 grams of vitamin C will knock out a cold. Obviously, you're not taking all 100 grams at once. If you can get access to IV vitamin therapy and get a big bolus of vitamin C, that's awesome. But for me, where I live, I'm just taking liposomal vitamin C. So it's vitamin C mixed with, but it's bound to a fat that makes it a little bit more easy on the gut. And so, you know, generally 5 grams per 30 minutes.